What do people learn too late? That most people will just help you how and if they can. If you are honest to them, it seems like so many people feel the need to conceal what they actually want from you and try to get it by presenting a half-truth or what they think you want to hear instead of just being straightforward. This. So much this. Also, even if you are wrong or to blame at a situation, at least own it up. Otherwise, why do you need to hide information from someone? Maybe the other person will come out as a jerk. But so will you when you lie or hide the truth. Social media can consume your life. It's not all real, and not everyone posting pictures is having a great time. And not every, "I love you so much we should catch up," is genuine. Learning when to say no. Learning how to apologize when it's your fault. And how to not apologize when it's not your fault. That it's possible to do everything fucking right and still lose. Just life in it. Interest rates, credit cards, credit score, money-saving techniques, 401k. In other words, anything that keeps you from being trapped by poor money management. I straight up had to go out of my way to take a personal finance class to learn half of this shit, and that was like 2 months ago and I already forgot most of it. Don't worry if you aren't living an exciting or extravagant life. It's okay to live simply and quietly. It doesn't mean that you're wasting your life. My name is Yoshikage Kira. I'm 33 years old. My house is in the northeast section of Morio, where all the villas are. And I am not married. I work as an employee for the KMU department stores. And I get home every day by 8 p.m. at the latest. I don't smoke, but I occasionally drink. I'm in bed by 11 p.m. and make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. No matter what. After having a glass of warm milk and doing about 20 minutes of stretches before going to bed. I usually have no problems sleeping until morning. Just like a baby, I wake up without any fatigue or stress in the morning. I was told there were no issues at my last checkup. I'm trying to explain that I'm a person who wishes to live a very quiet life. I take care not to trouble myself with any enemies, like winning and losing. That would cause me to lose sleep at night. That is how I deal with society. And I know that is what brings me happiness. Although, if I were to fight, I wouldn't lose to anyone. How to not give a fuck about how others see you. Seems simple enough for me now in my 20s. But back in high school there were many fucks given about how others saw me. Ironically, those people that didn't care how others saw them were often the more respected ones. That some things can never be undone. The actions you take and the words you speak will come back around sooner or later. Yes, some words can never be taken back. I learned the hard way. This is why it's better to train yourself to think carefully before saying something. I didn't do that because I wanted everything to come naturally, but I realized that's just an excuse I used to avoid taking responsibility of things I said. Not everyone is going to like you. No matter how hard you try. You could be the juiciest peach in existence. Full of flavor. Yet there will still be those who don't like peaches. How slippery a slope addiction is. How quickly trying something at a party turns into being hooked. Nicotine is a bitch. I know it's awful for me and my lungs, but I just keep on going back. Saying, "I love you," or wanting to reach out to your family, friends, and loved ones, but crippling anxiety stops you. You never know when it may be too late to say these things. So be in the moment. And live, love in the present authentically. Also, to learn the difference between saying, "I love you," as a statement, and saying, "I love you," but really meaning, "Do you love me?" It's fine to switch the real meaning from time to time. Everyone needs a little occasional reassurance. But if all my "I love you" utterances come from the latter, and especially the first one in a romantic relationship, I need to do some work of myself if I hope to have any quality relationships in my life. Don't ever think it's okay to talk to yourself in a manner you wouldn't let another human being talk to you. The biggest abuser I ever had in my life was my constant companion, the thoughts in my head. We often take care to choose our words when correcting a child or friend. But if anyone had talked to me, The way I talked to me for 30 straight fucking years. I would have murdered them. And probably got away with it too. Be nice to yourself. You're the only you. You have. Mistakes have consequences. Sometimes they are huge consequences. Such as a mistake while driving could milk yourself or someone else. Sometimes they're little consequences, but always learn from your mistakes and that you should always be learning and improving yourself. That happiness usually comes from a diverse range of interests, hobbies, and commitments. You are not your job. Your romantic partner cannot be your everything, etc. It's so easy to get sucked into a life where your career is everything or where you wrap your entire identity around your partner. There is nothing wrong with celebrating your loved ones and being close. And there is nothing wrong with caring about your job. You just need more to thrive. I see this so often in relationships. Two people meet and fall in love. They each inspire one another based on their interests and achievements. It's part of what makes them fall in love. But slowly, over time, they let those hobbies go. Stress gets in the way. Bills pile up. And then one day they find themselves wondering why they ever loved this person in the first place. Instead of being sexy and interesting, they're just part of a routine. TLDR, diversify your interests and activities to be happy. Don't rely on a single person, hobby, or commitment to give you everything you need. That salary amount is not the entirety of an equation when deciding where to work. You have to take into account the cost of living, commute times, the safety of the nearby area, and the convenience of living in the area. Studies have shown that taking a 20-minute longer commute is as bad for your job satisfaction as a 19% pay cut. On top of that, wealth equals money in, money out. If a new job pays $20,000 more, but if rent property prices are $30,000 more per year, you are taking a pay cut. On top of that, you have to consider your future. Do you have to move to an undesirable location to work there? Crammed in a little apartment where the nearest services are an hour away? What about air quality? What about noise levels? Is this a place where you want to start a family and raise kids? All of those play a factor in determining the desirability of a job. I am a firm believer that my job doesn't exist outside this city is a bullshit myth. Even if you're a super specialized rocket scientist with a PhD in orbital dynamics, NASA is not the only organization with a job opening for you. The importance of writing skills for formal contexts. Writing is an important skill in nearly any field, and the more a career advances, the more important it becomes. The lack of adequate writing skill often holds back a career. Yet many people squander their opportunities to learn writing because they think their class assignments are empty busy work, and they figure their skills in spoken English and informal text messages will carry over when they need to write for work. I haven't gotten to a point where writing skill has mattered much past getting a grade on a paper. But how poor does someone's skill in writing have to be that they are held back from a position that they fit beside inadequate writing skills? Is it just minute details that are important, like a semicolon? Or something else? Many college degrees have no job market. Trade school is a financially solid option out of high school. This biggest regret in life equals going to college. I luckily got out of it with way less debt than most for my completely unmarketable degree, Woo Communications. In high school, I wanted to be an electrician. I was a musician and was fascinated with how amplifiers and whatnot work. I didn't even know that that field is probably one of the most well-paid trades there is. Because it's fucking dangerous. When I was 17, my parents told me, "Go to college, or you aren't our son anymore." Off to college I went. I've since restarted in a totally different field, which I could have gotten into out of high school. And would probably be in a cushy office position by now. But I'm doing okay. My story is a rare one though. There really shouldn't be people with master's degrees working at McDonald's. But this is the world we live in. The importance of education. As a kid you're always hear generic statements like, "This will help your career," but nothing specific enough to be useful. It's better to have a career in mind and then work backwards to find what is required to obtain it, then go for an educational path and hope it all falls into place. How short life is. To be fair, this quote generally has the tendency to encourage behaviors that make life even shorter. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.